Hello everyone, welcome to the course on C programming. In this video we will analyze the basic skeleton of a C program and we will write our first code where we will be printing some sort of a string on the terminal, right? So this is the software that we are going to use throughout this course. It is Dev C++. What we need to do once we open the software, we need to go to file and we need to create a new file by clicking on new and then source file. Okay, so this is the editor area where we need to type the C code. So every C program, it starts off with a header file, so you need to include a header file. Header file can be included by writing this particular statement, hash include stdio.h, right? Standard input.h. So this is the header file. This file has extension of .h. This indicates that it is a header file. Like for a notepad file you have extension of .txt. For a doc file you have .doc or .docx. Similarly for the header files the extension is .h. So what you need to do is that in a C program you need to first include this header file. Why do we need header files? Header files are required. Why? Because in a C program we are going to use various built-in functions, right? And they are the part of this particular header file, right? So they're defined over there, and in order to make sure that we are able to use those functions in our program, we need to include the header file right at the top. Okay, so this is the first thing that you need to do in every C program. Then you need to have a main function. A main function can be written in different ways. The simplest way to write it is like void main. Main is the function, and every C program has a main function which is going to be there, right? So it's a function which is mandatory in a C program, and this is one way of writing it, where you write void main. Here void indicates that this function main, it does not return anything, right? So a function can return an integer value, right? A function has various other properties which we are going to analyze later on once we deal with the concepts of function. But as of now, since we are starting off with the programming and we are writing our first program, what we need to understand is that we need to include a main function in a C program, and this is one way of including it, where you write void in front of the main function, indicating that it will not return anything. Okay, then if we want to print something, this is what we need to write, printf. So this is a function which will allow us to write something on the terminal. So here you can write any message, and in any programming language we write hello world, right? So this is always going to be the first program if you will learn the language for the very first time. So this is how we can print the string on the terminal, right? So once we run this program, hello world will be displayed on the terminal, right? So this is the simplest program where we have made use of a printf function. We have included a header file also, and we have a main function in C where we have included this printf. Okay, and within the bracket what we have written in the double quotes is the string that we want to print on the terminal, right? So a very simple program, not a complicated one, just to give you a glimpses about the skeleton of C programming. This is what the main objective is. So now what we need to do is we need to save this program. What we'll do is we'll go to file and we'll click on save or save as, whatever you feel, right, is appropriate. So I will use save as, and here I will write the name of the program, and I will write basic 1.c. so it's a basic program, so otherwise you can write any name, right? So let us say test123.c could be another name, right? If you don't want to write .c after this, what you need to do is you just need to click on save as, and you need to save it as a C file, .c. The extension has to be .c, and save it in any folder, right? So I have created a folder cprog, and cprog is a folder which is there in my local machine, and the name of the file is going to be test123. The extension will be .c. Okay, so I will save it, right? So now the program is saved. What I need to do is I need to click on execute and compile this program. So when we compile this program, what happens, the code that you have written in C language, it gets converted into a machine executable code, right? So a code which can be executed by the machine. Okay, so when we say compiler, This is the main job of a compiler, that it converts the code which you are writing in C language into the machine executable code, if we are talking about the C programming compilers, right? The compilers which are going to compile the C code. And in other way, you will also notice that this is what is going to help us in terms of finding the errors in our code, right? So you can see over here it shows no error and no warning, 0 errors and 0 warning. But in case I commit some sort of a syntax error, it is going to tell me where I have committed the syntax error. So in case I don't put this semicolon on line number 5 and I save this code and try to compile it now, what will happen? Just see. It says that there is an error, expected semicolon over here before the closing bracket over here, right? So you can see that it has given me an indication where I need to put the semicolon. Okay, so compiler helps you in terms of finding the syntax bugs in your program, syntax errors in your program. So I will go to execute, compile the code again, and you can see now it says 0 errors and 0 warning. What I need to do now is to go again, click on execute and click on run. The shortcut is also mentioned over here. F9 is the shortcut for compiling, F10 is the shortcut for running the program. So I will click on F10 and you can see that a terminal window opens up and it says that the message that you have written in the printf is displayed over here, hello world. Okay, so whatever we are going to write over here, it gets printed on the screen. So printf function is used to print the messages on the terminal, right? And now if you want to add and modify the program, what you need to do is, let us say we write another line, printf, and then we write my name is Dr. Umesh Datta, right? So I'm just printing this another message. I'll save the program again, I'll go to execute, compile the code again, right? So every time you make a change in the code, you have to compile the code again. Okay, now what I need to do is go to execute and click on run. You can see hello world is printed, and then the second message which I have written in the printf statement is getting printed. My name is Dr. Umesh Datta. Okay, but in case I want to make sure that the next message appears on the next line, I have to make use of a new line character. What I can do is I can just put \n over here, right, just before the beginning of the next printf statement, right? Over here within the double quotes you have \n. It indicates a new line character, which means that this message will be printed on the next line. So \n is for the new line character, right? So whenever the compiler will have \n, what it will do, it will change the line, right? So the line will change, right? So the message hello world will be printed on line 1. Then what will happen once the code goes to the second line, this line, what will happen? It will have \n first, so it will change the line, and then this string which we are writing over here, my name is Dr. Umesh Datta, will be printed. Okay, so just save this program again and click on execute, compile this code again. Why? Because we have committed a change in our code, and click on run. Now you can see that it prints hello world, and then on the second line our next string is getting printed, right? So you have to smartly play with this \n, that is a new line character in the code, and it will be very crucial for you going further when you will write bigger programs in C programming, and you can use it anywhere. If I use it over here on line number 5, just at the last, it again means that once it prints hello world, the line change will happen, and then once this statement is going to be executed, what will happen? This will be printed on the new line. So hello world will be printed, then the line will be changed because of this \n, and then you will have the second string message that you want to print it, you want to print on the screen, that will get printed. Okay, so this is what is going to happen over here. So I will save the code again, I'll go to execute, compile this code again, go to execute again, and run this program. Now you see again on line 1 you have hello world, on line 2 you have the second string. So it was quite easy to understand. So in this lesson we have learned the basic skeleton of a C program. We have seen the header file where it needs to be included, right? And then we have also seen printf function. We have seen the role of a \n, that is the new line character in a C program.